Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for sitting here today with us. This is the second edition of WSM, the first entirely free event dedicated to sustainable innovation and design. We are very happy to host it here in Milano. And today we are here to discuss the future of retail, something that hasn't been explored lately, something that has remained the same for a very long time. In fact, if we think of a physical store, we think of a place where we go to make a transactional purchase. We don't think of anything special, let's say. But the fact is that retail is a very important link. It's a point where consumers finally meet a product. It's a point where retailers and brands have the opportunity, finally, after a lot of work, to showcase their product and to sell it and to tell a story to their customer. So this is a very important piece of the value chain, which we didn't explore enough. So here today we are with three very interesting speakers that are here with me to discuss and to understand how we can give value to this point of sale. And I think we see it ourselves. So we are all consumers. I mean, I'm 25, and when I have to make a transaction, which I know is pretty easy and quick on the internet, going to a retail is not interesting anymore. It's not enough to go to a retail when you need to just simply buy a white t-shirt or something like that. So we are expecting more from retails. We want experiences. We want to be listened. We want to receive information about what we buy. So these are the topics we're going to explore today with my guest. So I will introduce them. I have Andrei Golub, founder of ElseCorp. He is a tech entrepreneur. And Andrei, I will ask you to give a quick introduction about you and your company in 1 minute.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. I'm very happy to be here with you this Saturday morning. I'm a co-founder of ElseCorp. Maybe some of them have already heard about this company. We like to call us a virtual retail company. We were the first to seriously introduce and elaborate the idea that virtual retail is not just virtual reality. It is how to interconnect the whole retail value chain in a different way, in a virtual way or digital way. So then we'll talk, I will give more details. It's a virtual retail, the future of retail from our point of view.
Thank you, Andrei. Now we have Valfredo, our second speaker. Can you give us a brief introduction of you as well?
Hi, everyone. I'm Valfredo. Thanks for having me. I am a tech entrepreneur and environmental activist. I really focus on accelerating the movement of conscious consumption. So we focus on working with brands through technology, mainly blockchain technology, in order to showcase what makes a product sustainable or impactful, and then communicating this to consumers all over the world.
Thank you so much. And now we have Devin connecting from New York. I know it's 6 a.m. Devin, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Did you have coffee yet?
I had coffee, and Ludovico, Matteo, and your entire team. I just want to thank you guys for still having me despite the circumstances. I know it was an extra hassle, so I really appreciate it. And hello to everyone in Milan.
Great. Thank you for being here. Can you also spend a few words about yourself and the Canvas, your company?
Absolutely. So I'm the co-founder and CEO of the Canvas by Querencia. We're really trying to address two main friction points for retailers and brands. And that is that there's an increasing number of vacancies around the world. That is empty stores lying in the most amazing cities and nothing really happening. So landlords are sitting with amazing properties and no activations. And then there are thousands of brands, ethical brands mainly, that would want to do something with it. And so we're trying to connect those spaces with those brands and bring them to life in a very unique way through technology and with a focus on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals.
Great. Thank you so much. So now we start to discuss our topic. So we are seeing recently that we have a lot of designers researching on textiles, a new way of creatively design in order to change the fashion industry. And at the same time, we are seeing customers, we're seeing ourselves searching for solutions, searching for better products and for more ethical brands. But we are trying to navigate a space which is full of things, but very few truthful information. And this is what we need mostly now. So I want to start with Andrei and ask him about his company, which the name of the company actually stands for exclusive luxury shopping experience. There is a very important word in the name of your company, which is experience. So Andrei, can you tell us about your vision for the future of retail? Why do you call it experience? And which kind of technologies, if you can give us an example, have your company developed in order to enable us as consumer to experience a different shopping moment?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, starting from the name is great. Because our company, well, it's called ElseCorp, but we meant really something else. So the idea was to propose else, something different. Then after we found a nice way of decoding it. So exclusive luxury shopping experience means that we are looking for a better shopping experience, no? That there is a kind of luxury experience, no? Because today, when we all know today or yesterday before the crisis, know how it was. Some people still continue talking, I like shopping, no, I love shopping. Some people, so we have people that are fashion victims, but at the same time, the whole fashion system is not sustainable, is not intelligent. Now, what we do today is that we design things a lot, we produce so much, and we try to sell what we produced. No, only few companies, few people were thinking 5 years ago when we started, that by definition, this flow is unsustainable. So you invent something, you produce as much as you can, as cheaper as you can, and then you invent shopping experience with the goal to upsell the stock. It is not intelligent at all, no? So yet before technologies, our idea was to think of this concept. Look, so the store could, like today, after the crisis, we already understood that store is not a stock. It should not be full of products. Nobody wants to open boxes. Nobody wants to try things and so on. So the physical store is something different, while online is growing like hell, no? Everybody agrees. But 5 years ago, it was not clear. There was different reasons. So what we proposed, what we elaborated, this idea we called virtual boutique, already having in mind the idea is that the only way to be sustainable is to not upsell the things which are possibly not useful, not interesting, no? But to create a point of contact between consumers, brands, and brand is not only retail, it's not only sale, it's also the design. It's really the thinking your collections, no? So we proposed this concept, look at how it looks like. This is in our logic was the store of the future, still 5 years ago. You have only merchandising, you have only product samples, you don't have the full stock. Nobody ever produced things in advance because we don't know which color combinations, which sizes and so on are needed. So the store is a front end to engage with the consumer, and maybe many of us we know what is product configurator. So technically speaking, product configurator is a way to present in a nice way a product where you can personalize it. No, but speaking in terms of concepts, coming back to this, it is a way to sell without yet having a product in stock. You engage, you understand what your customers are interested. No? And so we worked on this. First of all, it's a concept. Then, of course, behind such thing, there are different technologies, no? Up to virtual reality, augmented reality. There is a lot of 3D. 3D is very important, is a fundamental. No? We were one of the first companies to help brands designing collections fully in 3D, in a digital, to have as less as possible samples, to not waste the earth on the process in general with the samples. And at the end, this is what, from our point of view, was, from technical point of view, the luxury shopping experience. Look, we try to converge technical and feeling. We were able to decompose the products in the way that every component, every product combination, every material, every color is a QR code at the end, like our Chinese friends do. You can scan a material and ask system to apply it on a product. And 3D system will generate you immediately the product that looks like you want. So we decompose it. We made a full inventory in the way that you come to a store, you take a physical sample, you say, okay, this, but with this color on the outsole. Look me how it looks like. And you can able to order it from there. So this is basically how the story was in the beginning.
Sounds super cool. I'm looking forward to try this new technology, to be honest. Amazing, yeah. So you're basically using technology as a way to change the role of retail. So it is no more a point of transaction where you go to exchange money for a product, but it's a place where you go to create a relationship, to listen to a story, to get to know a brand, to get to know the people behind the brand, and then be listened.
Yeah, a conversation. I would say that now, after this crisis, we understand that nobody will go to store just to waste time. It's better to stay at home, no? So anything we can buy online, we will buy online. So the big question, why do I go to a store? Only if there is something that I cannot do online. That's it. Otherwise, the stores, we can close them. So we must be looking for the reasons for the store, the technologies, and from my point of view, product personalization and made to order and the concept of virtual retail are these reasons which can give a second life to the stores. Of course, they will change. It's not anymore a huge store. It's a smaller, it's a corner, it's more engaging, it's digital. You will need digital walls or whatever, screens, interactive, augmented reality, all stuff, but the sense is not to sell the boxes that I have behind me, to engage you. Then you can click QR code and buy it online. Who cares?
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense. So we need a why. We need incentives. We need stimulus to go to a store. We don't go to a store no more just for a simple transaction. So my question then comes natural, and it is, if the store is no more a point of sale, so the focus is no more selling, how can this be financially sustainable?
Yeah, that's a great question. I have a second section of nice pictures. Let me show you. So starting, maybe a bit anticipated. This concept that we developed was initially thought for made to order. No, make to order and personalization. But now, as you say, well, of course, just by itself, the store, if it's only engagement point, or especially if it's only for made to order, it's economically, no, it's complicated. It makes sense, sure, for big brands, but not for medium and smaller, because it has cost, but not generating transactions, no? So made to order is a great idea for the future. I'm still the person that will bring this flag all my life, made to order, personalization, sustainable, but we need to find a better way, no? So instead of this was, maybe that I had to anticipate this picture, look at this. This is how it looks like if in store or wherever it is. No, this store can be anywhere. This is in some gym or some space, relaxed space in a beauty salon, anywhere. No, you have the samples, you can create your own product, and this was bringing us to few transactions. I totally agree. No, maybe for smaller designers, for independent designers, that's the best way, because you produce after you receive the order. No, but then now how to bring this in, combine it to the transactional model of online. No, here we don't have so much time. No, I will only anticipate. And who wants to see, you're welcome to also at least to visit our website. No, for me, this is the future. Look where we came to. We came to the idea that engaging in store helps learning customers' way of thinking. And so for 3 years already, no, for 2.5, let me be honest, my company is not anymore design automation company, but we are an artificial intelligence company. Can you believe? We were 17 designers and 5 programmers. Today, we are 12 programmers AI and 3 designers, only 3 designers. So we do design automation and train neural networks. May sound crazy for some people. Now we find ourselves in a period when AI, it looks like something clear for big brands maybe, no? But unbelievable for smaller. But give it a couple of years and you will see that AI is exactly the thing that can get the most from every channel, put things together. And look, so after all, I answer the question. if I can learn, meet a consumer in a physical store, and even how you look like, now we already made it working, so we can analyze the style of the person. We can give you this configurator and look which samples do you touch, which colors, materials do you prefer. All this goes to Intelligent Cloud, and then after we apply this and recommend you the products from online. So you came to a store, you find some samples, you find something interesting, say, okay, what can I buy now? Well, made to order, we say it is a kind of dream. No, you click on a button, and AI will find in existed collections from stock everything that is very similar to what you were looking in a physical store. So we will keep your mind. We call this service MyStyle.ai. Now it's a service already developed in the cloud. The idea is that every consumer can bring it with me, and even when I connect online to some website, I can apply this, and it becomes an intelligent filter. So at the end, the more you buy, and especially the more you use this intelligent customer experience of trying, selecting, and rating the products that you like, the more intelligent recommendation service will become. And so I totally agree. We need to bet on the channel that sell, but coming back to if it's sustainable to try to convince people buying something that they don't need, they don't like, not only because of sale, only because of tricky marketing campaign. It's not correct from our point of view.
Yeah.
No? So there is a better, sustainable way. Recommend products which are suitable. There is so much stuff online. No, instead of pushing everything, why do not recommend only intelligent things?
It's a more customer-centric approach. It's no more focused on products. It's more focused on us. And I bet it can make us feel much more important when we walk into a store to know that we can really tell what we like, what we want, and have a personalized service. So that is very exciting.
30 seconds, give me 30 seconds to comment what is written here on this slide, otherwise I put it in strand. Many people would say, well, we maybe agree that AI, if it works, if some intelligent companies can do it, it works, it's okay, but how do you get this data? No, and especially there is a privacy issue, there is a GDPR, and so on, no? It's a very, very big issue, very interesting. So we studied it. We made a lot of surveys, talking to different brands, to consumers. So basically, people say one simple thing. If you want to use my data in an intelligent way to help me with a better service, take it. But be honest, be transparent. What data do you need? No, so people are totally aware. Get it, it's okay, nobody cares. Even the cameras in store. We have some projects where there is a camera which is analyzing where you're looking at. This is good, it's bad. I can learn what you like, but if you make it honest and declare it, and you say, at the end, I will show you your ideal product, you will be happy. People say, that's great.
Yeah. We are already delving into a very interesting topic, which is transparency. So
Absolutely.
Thank you for bringing that up. This was a very comprehensive analysis of the future of retail, but let's think about who's on the other side, which is us as consumers. We are seeing a massive shift on consumer trends and on our expectations from brands and retailers. So I would like to ask Valfredo if you can give us your point of view in terms of how are consumers changing, what are they expecting, and how is your company trying to give them the tools to receive and collect more truthful information to make better choices?
Yes, this was really exciting and interesting. For what concerns the consumption, the world of consumers, you have all witnessed a massive evolution in the last, I'd say specifically 5 years. This is in fashion, but it's also in food. It's in all kind of industries of consumption, where we go from fast food to slow food, from fast fashion to slow fashion. And the reason this is happening is because of I see very young people in the crowd, like your generation, my generation, millennials, have evolved into conscious consumers. When I say conscious consumers, I like to say that this is built upon maybe 5 values, which are environmental sustainability, social impact, health and safety, maybe four. And I would say the fourth would be heritage, so preservation of our traditions, our roots. And of course, for what concerns the fashion industry, the sustainability issue is massive because fashion accounts for 8% of the global environmental impact of mankind. 8% is a very big number. A part of this has to do with production, and a greatest part has to do with consumption habits. So why do we go to H&M, spend €9 for something that will break in 1 week and throw it away when we can spend €200 on something that we will love and crave for the rest of our life, maybe? So what we do as Genuine Way, we are a technological company. We work with blockchain technology, which is something that is often confusing for many, especially European consumers, because it's still very new here. Blockchain, to make it very simple, is an online database that it's distributed, decentralized, meaning it is not held on the server, on the computer of your company or on a cloud, but it's held on thousands of nodes, which are different computers. What is amazing about this technology is that once you put information, data, or files inside this database, there is no one on planet Earth that has the power to remove this information or to modify the content of this information. So what we believe, it is a space for auto-certification. I don't like to say certification, I like to say auto-certification, because we created a very simple, let's say, online platform that allows brands, specifically small and middle-sized brands. So our focus is on the brands that are really achieving the sustainability and the social impact, because you know of the big issue of greenwashing, you know how we're very happy that the large brands and the large groups are trying to enter this space and they're trying to achieve results, but it's really at the smaller level where we see some incredible innovation and sustainability. So Genuine Way allows brands to basically source information and mainly documentation like supply receipts, lab tests, contracts. We create this batch of documentation that we register on the public blockchain to show the consumer exactly what happens in the factory, how a product is made. And then we try to make it into a sexy native mobile experience, because the consumer does not have the time and maybe the knowledge to understand everything that we're saying. But we need to give them the opportunity to interact with a smartphone on any physical object and in a few seconds understand, hey, this jacket is for me. And people are not buying clothes based on their taste anymore, because there's a lot of stuff that we like. They're also doing it based on the value. This brand represents me. Think of examples like Save the Duck or Patagonia, who created a massive empire, a massive business just out of social impact and sustainability stories. So this is what we do, and we believe that the cultural evolution is here already, but technology will help us accelerate this jungle of information and make it easy for a consumer to understand what he's doing.
Thank you for saying that. We really need to make it easy because it's very hard to understand. We cannot be expert of everything that we want to buy. We need to have the tools to make quick decision upon our values easily. So that's great. You guys are doing a great job. You mentioned that you hope for a community. You aim to create a community of people that are more conscious in what they buy, that are like-minded, and that can gather digitally on your platform to find responsible product across industry, because Genuine Way, am I right, works across industries. So what do you think the concept of community is, and why has it gained so much role and power in today's market?
Yeah, it's funny because every project, as in your case, starts in a way, then evolves in another way. And when I started, I was just focusing on the B2B part of things. So let's help brands create transparency for consumer. That's it. We sell them a service. Then I really understood that the value of what we are doing is to find the consumer that is out there, that already exists, the consumer that is not united when it comes to these kind of topics, and kind of connect them in a community. And the way that we want to do this is different, because usually when you, in traditional digital business, when you want to create a community, it's mainly web marketing, you know? You try and reach consumers. What we are doing, we understand it now. We launched our product in December. We already have 15 brands. As we said, in healthy food, sustainable fashion, design, anything that holds the values that I was talking about. And we realized that all these brands, they have the same consumer. The guy that's going to buy a vegan leather jacket from Belstaff is the same guy that's going to buy a sustainable food product that is, you know, also very healthy for him and so on. So what we were trying to do is reach this consumer through the physical product. So the physical product is our vessel, as opposed to web marketing. It now already goes, you know, thousands of products since we started, they go in the hand of consumers in Europe. We want to reach a catalog of 100 brands by the end of 2021. We're doing 4 brands a month. When we have 100 brands, we might have several millions of products on the market, of course, and then several hundred thousands or millions of consumers interacting. Then we create an app of Genuine Way just with the sake of saying, hey, let's connect together. You guys, you share the same values, and when we do this, we can do a lot more for consumer than just showing transparency. You know, we can organize events, we can make sure that they can connect with each other, we can do proximity marketing, couponing, and everything that allows the brand then to reach this consumer more. So this is what we're doing. And in general, answering your question, communities are essential now to any industry. Community is what unites us as human beings, and what you're doing, you might be, you know, I am proud of any one of you has changed their lifestyle to do something little that is making a better world. But I think that what you're craving is also to find other people that are like you and share your life with them and so on. Yeah,
thank you. You said a lot of interesting and important things, and what I really love is that it's true, it's an approach, it's a mindset. If we look for values, we don't look for them only in fashion, we look for them in food, in any other industry, in the way we travel, in the way we brush our teeth. So it's really an approach that more and more people are adopting now. So I really look forward to be part of your community as well. And it's a concept that I want to grab hold of, because Devin up here, which I hope is still with us, we don't see you.
Here.
Are you there? Yeah. Hi. All good there? Yeah?
Perfect.
Amazing. So Devin, with the Canvas, they really bring the concept of community down to earth, because they create spaces, so they create physical community of people that are like-minded, that are looking for experience, that are looking for support, that are looking for responsible brands. So everything we have said before, you bring it all together in spaces. So I want to know from you, why, again, is it so important for you to create a space? What type of space you aim to create? And why is the location, the choosing of the location so peculiar of what the Canvas does?
Should I go ahead and share my screen?
Yes, please, if you'd like to.
Excellent. Can you see this okay?
Yes, perfect.
Thank you, Ludovica. So I think the common theme here is community. And I think where we start is, what is this community that the Canvas is focused on? 41% of fashion businesses are classified as small. And in the US alone, and I'm going to minimize these, that should be better. Sustainable apparel accounts for around approximately 20% of the industry's $406 billion market value. So this is a tremendous opportunity. And we feel that it is often overlooked by even people like landlords who have assets that can be of great value to brands trying to grow. So as I mentioned before, one of the key points that we're focused on, really the traditional problem number one, is rent is extremely difficult for any small brand, in that if you're trying to open a store, if you're trying to introduce product to a new market and you're testing, you're experimenting, rent will be consistently the thing that makes it most difficult for you to innovate. And that is because, especially in COVID-19, it's a perfect example. if you need to close down for months at a time, you're going to keep having to pay rent and you're not going to have a revenue stream. So our first thing when we started the Canvas, coming out from being a small brand ourselves, was what is this friction point that prevents small brands like ourselves from growing? And the first thing was obvious, it was rent. So going to landlords and saying, look, you have a space, we have a brand, we know many other brands like us. We would like to bring our brand into your space and we'd like us to collaborate rather than make this a completely transactional relationship based on what you want. Let's make it based on what we bring and what we build together. So a net revenue share essentially means that when we make money, the landlord makes money. And when we do not make money, the landlord does not make money. So throughout COVID-19 especially, we were in a position that while our stores were shut down, we were able to mitigate the circumstances because we did not owe any rent. And the second problem is really wholesale. Wholesale has been decimating this industry for decades. It is a system that really just emphasizes guessing and waste. And that is because really when you make a wholesale purchase as a retailer, you're betting that the consumer will like this product. And if they don't, where it ends up is really anyone's guess, and it really depends. But what we said was, let's work together with brands directly to create a system where you send us your product. If it does well, if it sells, you'll be paid out on a monthly basis. If it does not sell, that product will be returned to you, and it will not end up in a landfill, and it will end up being worn somehow because you'll be back in control of that product, of that asset. So the Canvas by Querencia is really a global network of brands from around the world. We're connected through these vacant spaces, and we transform them into hubs for the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And what I mean by that is every brand that basically applies to be a part of the Canvas must articulate how they address at least one of these goals. So really the key part of our application process is pick one of these goals and explain what your brand does to address it and to tackle it head on, and not in a way that is superficial, but document photos, certifications, anything that you can provide that helps us understand your effort, and not just where you are now, but where you want to go in the future, because many of these brands have their own struggles, and it's often mainly due to their circumstances. How can we as a retailer help them financially and from a marketing perspective grow and address those? So through this process, we've really grown a community of amazing brands from around the world, 170 and counting now, and we're in 3 spaces, and I'm going to sort of preview a few of the spaces through photos right now and just talk a little bit about what that transformation looks like. And Ludovica, please stop me if you'd like to interject with any questions at any point.
I do, actually. I want to interrupt you. I just want to quickly say that you're doing a lot to work and to remove the obstacles that are very, very important for brands to come to physical stores. We are seeing many small emerging brands that have internet spaces, but they find it really hard to come to a store. And it's great how you're providing all the services that create difficulties, usually all the fixed costs, the rent costs, the wholesale problem. You're providing for all of them, and that is amazing. I think we need more spaces like you. And what I really saw in the previous slide that I want to focus on for a second is the communication strategy you use, because the Canvas makes use of the very well-known sustainable development goals to help brands explain their values, explain their philosophy, right, Devin? Can you explain us a bit more about your communication strategy on SDGs?
Absolutely. So when we talk about sustainability, I always like to say that you can say to 2 people, you can ask them the question, is sustainability important? And they might both say yes. And then you can separate them individually and ask them, what does sustainability mean? And they will have 2 completely different answers. And so the UN Sustainable Development Goals really represent a framework that the entire world, that every country on earth practically, has signed up for. And so it's this global context of what this means. It's goal 1 through 17, ending in partnerships, that emphasizes this is what we're aiming for concretely. These are 17 of the biggest challenges that the world is facing. Let's figure out how fashion is responsible for addressing them. So for us, it started with that global context, and it also starts with acknowledging that in one place, something that may be unsustainable or unnecessary is someone else's livelihood. And I think, just to give an example, leather is something where in a certain situation, it would be impractical, unethical And then in another, it is the stimulation of a local economy. And to say that someone shouldn't use leather or shouldn't be creating any product out of leather concretely and globally as a universal concept really ignores that sustainability comes down to context. And we need to be able to isolate those contexts and understand them for what is happening in those individual circumstances, in those towns, in those cities, in those countries, so that we can understand these people are doing something that is greater than themselves. And it doesn't necessarily fit within the global context, but it does fit within the UN Sustainable Development Goals, and therefore it fits within the canvas.
Yeah, sounds super interesting.
I hope
Yeah.
that addresses it somehow. I think that's our perspective from internally, and we sort of shine it out externally to say this is what we see as the key to communicating, in that the whole world knows what these goals are. And if you don't know, I think everyone will know soon enough. You have even the corporate executives around the world now wearing the global pin on their suits and on their dresses. You see it coming in as a more standard approach to understanding this is what sustainability really means. That there's a concrete definition. So that's what's important to us from the communication standpoint.
Yeah, and the amazing thing is that you make it understandable worldwide, because nowadays everybody knows what sustainable development goals are. They are pretty easy to understand from everyone. And sometimes, as you said at the beginning, understanding what we mean by sustainable development or sustainability itself, it's very complicated, especially for someone that is not working in the field or is not naturally passionate about the topic. So I think it's extremely supportive of you guys using the Sustainable Development Goals. If you wanted to conclude your presentation, I'll give you another minute.
Perfect, thank you. I'll just do a quick skim through some of the spaces. This was the first day, our first revenue share pitch in Williamsburg. The space was completely empty, and just a few things that we've done with it since. This was at the very start, but we have events. This was a pop-up with a Cuban brand called Clandestina from Havana. And this is our space in Antwerp as well on opening. And this is the Canvas Bowery. We're going to be opening this next week. So this is our third location. It's a former museum. So we really aim to find the best spaces in the world and fill them with the best brands in the world and with a focus on sustainability. So thank you, Ludovica.
Well, you said, thank you. I heard you saying that you're opening in the Bowery next week in New York City. This is a good sign.
We are beyond excited for what's happening right now. I get goosebumps thinking about it. It wakes me up at 5 a.m. to be excited to be on Zoom and just share what we feel is happening. And I think it's a true revolution. And if we can find a way to support these brands around the world and give them the resources they need to thrive, the big conglomerates are going to be in trouble if we're next to them. If we're in the space next to them because it's empty, because the landlord can't get their head around that that's an unfair price to charge for rent. This is a pivotal moment in fashion and in the world. And fashion has always been both a reflection and an inspiration for the entire world. So it's very exciting.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Devin, for sharing what an amazing job you guys do at the Canvas. And thank you, Valfredo, and thank you, Andre. I think you guys are providing us and the market the tools to really change the industry. And I hope they have inspired you, every one of you who's been listening to this amazing conversation, to understand that they are doing a lot. They are dedicating their lives and their project to really give us the tool to change the industry. So the moment is now. We are all consumers, and we all have a role in this. Despite what we do in our life, we all have a role in this, and we need to really think about it and see what we can do now to really be the activator of a change that we want to see. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.